Welcome to The Burning of the Midnight Lamp, where we are dissecting music history, album by album, song by song. In today's episode, we are looking into the second track of David Bowie's album The Next Day from 2013, The Dirty Boys. Remember to like and subscribe if you want to hear other analyses of other songs from this album, and later on also other albums by other artists. We also have a podcast where we are discussing the analysis of the full album, the history of the album, and so on, and all the other songs from the album. So if you like to hear that, then please subscribe to our podcast. And on top of that, we also have a Patreon channel where we have recorded the full podcast, and where you can also join us in listening to the whole album and also get an early access to all the songs on the album. We have then arrived at the second song on The Next Day, which is Dirty Boys, a song that was recorded in 17 September 2011. Maybe we should start by listening to the song.
Road, living on a lonely road. I will pull you out of there. We will go to Finchley Fair. Feather hat. I will steal a cricket bat. Smash some windows, make a noise. We will run the dirty boys. When the sun goes down, when the sun goes down and the die is cast, when the die is cast and you have no choice, we will run with dirty boys. We all go mad, we all want you. Me and the boys, we all go through. You've got to learn to hold your tongue. This ain't the moon, this is burning sun. When the sun goes down, when the sun goes down and the die is cast, when the die is cast and you have no choice, we will run with the dirty boys.
Yes, so then we just listened to Dirty Boys. Very different track than the opening track, for sure. And that being said, a very different track from anything that Bowie had made up until now. This isn't a style that is very typical for Bowie. Very cool song, though. I really like it, that must be said.
Yeah, I think it's personally one of my favorites on the album. It's got that dark, slow swagger,
very gritty, raw.
Yeah, it's like a Tom Waits flavor, maybe.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. It has also a very special type of rhythm in the verses. More,
Very staccato.
very staccato, and then goes into a more steady beat in the chorus.
The
which is very
chorus
effective.
is more, in a way, typical for Bowie, if we could say it like that. But the verses, and I like the verses more than the chorus. The verses are really...
Yeah, but it gives a nice
it has a dirty feeling.
Gives a nice variation to have both
Absolutely.
in the same song. This type of beat, I don't know, it's almost reminds me of some type of reggae dub songs.
I get more a Tom Waits vibe.
You do have that as well.
It might be the saxophone or I don't know what it is.
It's the rhythm, I guess. I mean, can't quite put my finger on it.
Syncopated.
Absolutely.
But there's but the chorus is much brighter because the rest of the song it's more of a dark grayish, brownish color, but in the chorus it's brighter and it sort of rises step by step like on a staircase.
I like the way that he repeats. When the sun goes down, then when the sun goes down and the die is cast, and when the die is cast, and so on.
I think it's a combination of the brighter tones and the gradual going up the stairs, and when the sun comes, how you sort of you hear the words and then you think it's brighter, but so the chorus is that's towards the day, but the rest of the song it's in the dark.
It's in the dark. Great saxophone solo at the end there, played by Steve Elson, who was a seasoned musician who had played saxophone for Bowie many times before, including Modern Love, for example, on the Let's Dance album. And he played on that 1983 tour. And several other Bowie albums after that. Visconti compared the sax solo to 1950s bump and grind stripper music. And that it wouldn't have been out of place on Young Americans. I'm not sure about that last statement, but I can understand the stripper part.
Well, maybe the sax solo isolated, but the song itself is quite different. And also the guitar parts on this is really nice, I think. They're very distinct, and you can hear both guitars kind of playing against each other. Which is very effective, and just leads the song on to something great.
Yeah, but the title "Dirty Boys" and you said the flavor of stripper music and mentioning of a place name in London, Finchley Fair, and. Well, my thoughts first hearing this song is, I'm thinking of gangsters in London, the Cray Brothers, the Soho, the 60s, Performance, Get Carter, those type of movies, those kind of 60s swagger. But reading the lyrics, it's not very specific. It mentions... Tobacco Road. I'm not sure if that is a place, but at least it's a novel.
It's a novel, and it's also a blues and rock standard, also called Tobacco Road, which is a story of an orphan who hates his desolated home, dreams of leaving, getting rich, then coming back to Tobacco Road. It's not completely different thematically.
You have a feather hat and you have a cricket bat that is stolen, smashing windows, making noise, run with dirty boys. Boys gang, dirty boys, smashing windows with baseball bats. Thinking about Clockwork Orange and the Droogies, which is also something Bowie had some sort of continuing fascination with in the early 70s Siggy area, and also went back to In Black Star with having the song Girl Loves Me, having this Nadsat language that the Drugis used. It could be also not a gangster song, but also a Drugi song. And he also had, this fixation with the fixation, maybe the wrong word, but he was very interested in the Peaky Blinders television series, which is also gangsters. But that came out later. It came out after The Next Day was released. So it's
okay.
the autumn of 2013.
It's interesting you mentioned that, because you said it in the 60s. I have an older, I sort of imagine it to be the 30s, or an older time period. Maybe it fits better with Peaky Blinders, but as you said, it came afterwards.
It could have fitted very well among the Nick Caves and PJ Harvey tracks on Peaky Blinders soundtrack. It's that kind of flavor.
There is, we talked about it in other songs on this album and earlier in the podcast. The small references that seems to be to his previous work, and there is potentially another one here. At least it's a song title that is mentioned when he sings "Vinny and the Boys, We All Go Through." So the song "We All Go Through" is a Bowie song that came out in 1999.
B-side from
B-side.
Hours.
But it could also be a coincidence.
Most likely, I would think in this, it probably is. It's not a very uncommon phrase to say, right? So, but still, it's there. You can also mention Bowie's own description of the song, as we talked about in previous episodes. Bowie described the whole album with 42 words, or each song on the album with 3 single words. And for this song, it was violence, catonic, and intimidation.
And that fits.
That fits very well.
Yeah.
And basically describes the song. I mean, it's not a very complicated text. It seems to have that theme of rebellion and someone belonging to a rebellious group.
Yeah. It's not a very complicated structure. It has like E minor and D major in the verses. Builds a little bit more in the chorus, but I guess 4 or 5 chords. But it's effective, yeah. It works.
And it also fades out like the first song The Next Day, but this is a slower fade. It's not as jarring a fade. It works very well, but again, I would have liked to listen to the saxophone and the guitar having this sort of duet that they started, continuing for a couple of minutes more.
I could also imagine that, and just that it stops, because I mean, the way the beat is, it would be no problem just to stop it.
I sit with a feeling
That's true.
We talked about it before, the length of the album. I mean, of course, it could have been longer. It's space for more songs. It's certainly long enough. That's not what I mean, but it could be that was the length they were aiming for. They wanted to have all these 14 tracks in there, and that they simply are fading it out to get.
It's a good theory. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I would have preferred a non-fade out on both this track and the previous track.
Absolutely agree.
Any last comments?
Tony Visconti, if there are a 10-minute jam of this, please release it to the world.
Please,
tomorrow.
Yes.
Or just send us a link or private message. I mean, anything.
You know our email.
Exactly.
Or you can like and subscribe.
You can please remember to like and subscribe to this video. We will be releasing other analyses of other songs from this album. Of course, we plan to do every song on this album. So please remember to like and subscribe to get alerted when the next track comes out.
It comes on the next day.
Comes the next day. Not tomorrow, but another day.
Yes, when the stars are out.
All right. And by that, just to say thank you to everyone who was watching, and goodbye.
Good night.
And sleep tight.